Okay, so we are continuing the notes that you started last night. So you should be on the back of your notes. And the first thing I want you guys to do is cross out a few examples. So I'm not going to go over number 16. And I'm not going to go over 19. Okay. We're going to kind of go out of order. So the first example we're going to do is the easiest one, this one right here. And we're factoring a trinomial. A trinomial means 3 terms. And it's normally going to have a squared, 1 to the first power, and 1 with no letter at all. The way that I taught it last year and the way that I've taught it in the past is using the x method. You don't have to use my method. But this number right here goes at the top, so negative 30. And then the middle number goes at the bottom. And then from there, I list the factors of 30. So I start at 1. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, and 5 times 6. Out of those pairs, we're trying to figure out which of these combine to be a negative 13. I can add negatives if I need to. So 1 and 30 is not going to give me 13. These two, this one will though, if they are both negative. So this is going to be the pair that we use. So we already have our answer. You just set your answer like this. M minus 3, M minus 10. So that's the easiest of the examples. The next one we're going to do is actually this one right here. This one right here is very similar to 15. The only difference here is that it has an x to the 4th and not an x squared. So we're still going to start it the same way. So we're still going to start it using the x method. We're going to put, so this number is really these two numbers multiplied to each other. The number here is 1. So 1 times negative 20 is negative 20. The middle number goes here. That middle number is negative 1. Now we list our factors. So we got 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3, no, 4 times 5, and that's the end. And out of those, we need to figure out how can we get a negative 1 when combined. Remember, you can add negatives. So we got 4 and 5 together. If I subtract them, 4 and negative 5, I would get a negative 1. So normally we would write our answer with whatever letter they're using as x minus 4 and then x minus 5. But this time, because it's x to the 4th, it can't be x minus 4 because remember, you can double check your answer by multiplying through, which you've done in the past. So x times x is x squared. It needs to be x to the 4th. So that means this is going to have to be x squared, and this is going to have to be x squared. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. So that was the only extra step for number 18. All right. The next one we're going to go over is number 17. 17 is different than 15 and 18 because it now has a number in front of the square term. We call this the A term, A, B, C. So this is we now have a number in front of the A term. You're still going to start it off exactly the same. So do your x. Now remember, this one is the first number times the third. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. The middle number still goes here, negative 13. All right, our factors of 14 are 1 times 14 and 2 times 7. That's it. So out of these two pairs, how can we get a negative 13? Negative 14, negative 13, so we're trying to get a negative 13 out of it. 1 minus 14 is negative 13. Woo! 1 minus 14. So start it off like you normally would. D plus 1, D minus 14. Okay, here's the extra step. Whatever this number is, you have to divide these two by. It's called slide and divide. You'll see why here in a second. So slide and divide. So the first thing we have to do is put each of these terms having a denominator of this. Now, if it can be divided by that number, divide it by that number. If it cannot be divided by that number, we slide it over. So for example, is 14 divisible by 2? Yeah, so we're going to write the second parentheses as D minus 7, because 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now this one here is 1 divisible by 2. Is 1 divisible by 2? No, because 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So if it gives you a decimal, that means it's not divisible. So in this case, we're going to slide it over to the front. So our answer would be 2D plus 1. You're going to do the same thing for number 20. Okay, and number 20 is a little bit different. So we are going to start off with our x method. The top number is multiplying the first times the third. 10 times 9 is 90. And the middle number is going to be negative 21. To save time for the video, I'm not going to go and list all of the factors of 90. But the one that works is going to be 6 times 15. And they both have to be negative. So negative 6 and negative 15. Okay. So for this one, you're going to say g minus 6, g minus 15. Now, we're not done, remember, because there is a number in front. If there is a number in front, we have to divide both of these numbers by that number. Is 15 divisible by 10? No. Is 6 divisible by 10? No. So normally we would just slide it in front. Well, in this case, this right here is actually, you can make this fraction smaller. 6 and 10 are both divisible by 2. So now what we're going to do is change it to g minus 6 over 10. You can't put that in a calculator. It'll give you 3/5. And then this right here is going to be g minus, they're both divisible by 5, so 3 over 2. And when you factor, you know you're not done if you've got a fraction. You're not allowed to have a fraction. So it looks like this right here. This is where we're at. 3 is definitely not divisible by 5, so we're going to slide it in front. So this is going to become 5g minus 3. This right here is not divisible by 3, so we're going to slide it in front. So that's going to be 2g minus 3. And that's your answer for this one.